Hey everybody, I'm here in heart of Steamboat tonight, cozied up by the fire. I hope you're having a beautiful Christmas season. I'm Tim Selby. Thank you for joining me. Hey, I recently heard a story that really kind of struck me in the heart. It's a story about a 16-year-old boy by the name of Caleb Beaver. And Caleb died on Christmas Day. Up until a few days before Christmas, his family had no idea that anything was wrong. Turns out that Caleb had a rare congenital disorder. And the family was devastated, as you can imagine. It's even hard to even imagine, isn't it? And in the midst of their pain and their struggle, they made the decision to donate Caleb's organs, his heart, his lungs, his kidneys, his liver, in the hopes that something good might come out of the tragedy that they had experienced. And after his death, his mother, her name was April, his mother, April, she wanted so badly to have some kind of indication that Caleb was near or that things were okay. You know how this is. She wanted to have a dream or hear a voice or see a sign or some kind of message that Caleb was okay. Her prayers were answered 8 months later when she went to the mailbox and took out a letter. It was from a man by the name of Charles Shelton. Charles Shelton was a psychiatrist in Kentucky. And on April 26th, he had received the gift of a heart that kept him alive. It was Caleb's heart. And he was reaching out because he wanted to thank April and her family in person. So they made arrangements for him to come to Mississippi, where they lived, to see them. And this picture that you see right now, this is a picture of that moment when he landed at the airport. She met him there on the tarmac, stethoscope around her neck. And when she saw Charles, she went to him and put that stethoscope on his chest. With tears streaming down her face, she said, "It's real. It's real." Charles said to her, "That's Caleb." Caleb Beaver had a heartbeat, and that heart was still beating and giving life to another person in a miraculous way. So at this time of year, we might ask ourselves, why? Why do we do it? Why do we celebrate Christmas when kids like Caleb die, when there's kids suffering with illness and hardship and difficulty all over the world? So many kids and such hardship. Why? How can we sing songs and celebrate at such a time? It's a fair question. Why do we do it? There was a man by the name of Jose Moran. Jose was a custodian at a church in Queens, New York, and several years ago, a couple days after Thanksgiving, Jose went into the church and set up their nativity set. It was a large barn with all the figures that went around with it. And when he was done setting it up, he went to lunch. When he came back to lunch and was walking by the sanctuary, he heard a noise. What could that be? And he listened and he followed it, and it sounded like the cry of a baby, but it certainly couldn't be that in the empty sanctuary. And he followed it right up to the manger and into that barn, where Jose found a newborn baby. So new, it still had the umbilical cord attached. And this baby was wrapped in a purple towel. You see the image of the baby here. Now, surveillance video in that neighborhood shows a woman with a baby walking up and down the aisles of a dollar store until she goes and she buys a purple towel. Purple, this color of royalty, this color that so often is associated with Jesus. She buys a purple towel, excuse me, she buys a purple towel and turns and heads in the direction of that church. Now, when Jose found that baby, that church sprung into action, getting it the care and support that it needed. Several families in that church came forward to want to adopt that baby, and the church had a baby naming contest. What should the name of this baby be? And you know what won that contest? The name? Emmanuel, which means God is with us. That child was adopted. I couldn't find out who actually adopted it, probably because of privacy reasons, but I bet you my hunch is that it was somebody from that congregation in Queens, New York. That baby, when it was left in that manger, had a heartbeat. That baby still has a heartbeat, and now that baby has a family as well. So back to my question, why do we do it? Why do we celebrate Christmas? When there's people in our world in such desperate poverty that they think the only choice they have is to leave their very own child in an empty sanctuary. The only gift they can give it, a towel from a dollar store, and the hope that someone can care for that better than they could. Why do we do it when there's so many poor families and children in war zones and refugee camps and borders and on the run and under highways? Why do we do it? Why do we celebrate when all this is going on in our world? There was another mother long ago. Like this woman in Queens, she was also poor and afraid. She had nowhere to be. And she brought her child into the world in a barn because there was no place for her in this world. But she brought that child into this world. She brought that child into this world of pain, into this world of hardship and suffering and difficulty. And many around the globe would come to call that child Emmanuel, saying, God is with us in the midst of it all. And that baby in that manger on that dark night long ago, that baby had a heartbeat. And that heartbeat still beats today in some miraculous and wondrous way. That heartbeat beats in the midst of your heart and mine. It's the very heartbeat of Christmas, the heartbeat of the baby Jesus that lives on yet today. So why do we celebrate in the midst of all this difficulty? We celebrate because the difficulty, the pain, the struggle, the hardship is certainly a part of our human story, but it is not all of our story. Not by a long shot. It is not all of our story at all. Our story is so beautiful and wondrous. Our story also includes things like, the laughter of children, the kindness of a stranger, the feeling of falling in love, sharing a meal with good friends. It involves dogs with wagging tails and the sound of the river, the feeling of new falling snow on your face, so soft, so beautiful. It involves the way people love each other and care about each other and sacrifice and give for the beauty and the goodness and the life of all those around them. Our world is so filled with goodness and beauty, and we celebrate because we embrace that goodness. We celebrate that goodness, and we know that that life and that love and that light is stronger than any of the struggles that come our way. So much stronger. You know, if you're in a tough place this season, we honor that. Sometimes life is really, really hard, difficult, and that's a part of our journey. And if you're in that place, we honor that you're there. We are all there, in and out of that place all the time. There's a beautiful phrase. It was passed on by the great Buddhist teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, and it says this: I've lost my smile. But don't worry. The dandelion will hold it for me. I've lost my smile, but don't worry. The dandelion has it. The dandelion will hold it for me. It's a way of saying this. You know, sometimes in life we lose our smile, we lose our joy. Life is hard. But when we're in that place, our smile is not gone. The dandelion has it and will hold it for us. It's a way of saying the universe will hold it for us. Now, maybe in Colorado in the winter, the dandelion, maybe not the greatest example. Maybe it might be better to say the stars in the sky will hold our smile for us. Or that beautiful tree outside my bedroom window is holding my smile. Or my family, my loved ones, the people at Heart of Steamboat, they're holding my smile for me. Because when you're in a difficult place, your smile, your joy, your life is not gone. You will find it once again. And all those who love and care about you, the dandelions and the trees included, will hold it for you until you can find it once again. We honor the child of Christmas by keeping alive the heartbeat that was beating so passionately in Jesus as he walked among us. And to keep that heartbeat alive, to keep that spirit alive, means that we need to live lives that are filled with grace, that we should love with extravagant love, that we should find ways to lift up those who are poor and those who are hurting, that we should welcome the outcast and reach out to those who feel lonely and offer a healing touch in all the ways that we can. It means, you know what, that we ought to walk in the way of peace. And we ought to shine a light so bright that it banishes and beats back the darkness. Jesus brought a heartbeat to our world, the heartbeat of Christmas. It's our job to keep that heartbeat alive, to keep that heartbeat among us till the very end of time. Let us know that the heartbeat of Jesus beats within each one of us. And let us keep that heartbeat alive and share it with all the world. I hope you and all of your family are blessed and feel the presence of Christ with you this Christmas. Merry Christmas to all.